Okay, so what did the NBC come out with? The special report. That's pretty much what we've been saying right along. But hey, we take our victories where we can find them. But they finally figured this stuff out. Great. Why not? Welcome to the party. Here's what they figured out. They figured out that the reason $50 trillion will not be going from one generation to the next, the reason that the boomers will not be, once again, saving Gen X or Z or Y or whatever the hell you want to call the kids these days, these whippersnappers, whatever you want to call them, I don't care. Anyway, the reason we're not going to be bailing them out is because we're going to pay that money to the nursing home. That's what's going to happen. That's the big change that's happened over the last, say, since the 60s. Right now, if you remember back in the 60s, there's some funny things about the 60s that people kind of gloss over. We all think, Woodstock, whatever. But I'll get the percentages for you because I can't remember them exactly. But when they were doing the census, in 60 and 70 and stuff like that, one of the questions they asked was, do you have indoor plumbing? Well, there was a large percentage of people who didn't have indoor plumbing. Okay, you think everything's the way it is now. It wasn't. It was not. How about central heat? That was another thing that people did not have. Well, now we all have central heat. Now we all have indoor plumbing. Oh, that's great, right? Here's another thing that we had in the 60s. We had, and it predated that, of course. Well, we had the county farm, the poorhouse. Where did people go? Well, they went to the poorhouse, and then the poorhouse after World War II, and they got antibiotics, and all of a sudden, see, it used to be that hospitals were the place you went to die, and it didn't take it didn't take very long. Okay, that's what a hospital was about. It wasn't about getting you better. People didn't get better back in the day; they got dead. That's what happened, and And so when you had a county hospital, you had the private hospitals, religious order based hospitals. My family, there's a long history of that. Of my great aunts being hospital administrators for the Grey Nuns. It was a Canadian order, and they had hospitals across Canada and down at the United States and all the rest of that. Okay, that's how hospitals were done, and you still see some vestiges of that, right? Hospital systems. But the point is that hospitals where you went to die. Well, then as time went by, as the 60s turned into the 70s, and we got better at keeping people alive, okay, guess what? All that additional care cost more money. You see? It didn't cost very much. I mean, in Grand Rapids, it was the county farm. That's what it used to be. And then it was the poorhouse, and then it was the county hospital. Okay. And then as time went by, then the county hospital became the county long-term care facility, the nursing home. And of course, there were private nursing homes, but nothing to rival what we've got now. We look around; they're building them like crazy. Okay, I'll go. You never need long-term care. Yeah, you'll never need it because they're building all these nursing homes for nobody. Nobody's ever going to be in them. Oh no, don't you worry about it. Never happened to you. Of course, the numbers are different. The older you get, the greater the percentage of people in long-term care. When you're 65, the estimate is you'll need 3 years of skilled care. That's what the federal government says. I know we don't trust the government's numbers. Okay, fine. Why were they phoning it up? What are they, it's like NBC finally comes out and tells the truth. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of amazing to find them telling the truth for once, but take your victories where you can find them. Don't look that gift horse in the mouth. I mean, if they're finally telling the truth, let's go with it. All right. And so we've had this progression, right? Where it was the county farm, the poorhouse, the county hospital, right? And then to skilled care, right? And that is sucking up, and that's where the $50 trillion is going. And NBC finally figured it out. It's not a mystery, but there was this whole idea that there was this huge wealth transfer that was going to happen. What I've seen over the last 34 years is family after family, farm after farm, business after business, right? Gone. There's nothing left. And back then, listen, when I first started this stuff, way back in the day, long-term care for a month, skilled care in a nursing home, right? It was under 3,000. It was around 2,000. It was around $2,000. Was what it cost per month, And of course, back then in the 90s, this is in the 90s now, everybody's like, "Whoa, it's so expensive. It's so expensive." Yeah, it's so expensive. But it kept snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. And then we had the COVID, all right, which really squished everything together. We saw all these what we thought would be, I didn't think we'd get to $16,000 a month for skilled care. I didn't think we'd get to that, you know, till I don't know, till the 30s, 2030s, right? Not now. Who would have expected it? Right. But right now it's $12,000 to $15,000 a month. Go find me a place that'll let you in for less than excuse me, for less than $400 a day. Right. And $400 a day times 30 days a month, that's $12,000. All right. And $500 all over the place. Right. And the other thing is, don't just look at the daily rate. You got to look at all the additional charges, whether they're charging you, for the aqua bed and the this and that. And there's all kinds of ways. You know how it is. When you look at the hotel bill and you say, "Hey, I thought it was $29 a night." Yeah, that's before the coffee charge, the open the door charge, the this charge, and the that charge. You know what I mean? And everybody's the same way. Long-term care is the same way. They add on, add on, add on, add on until, holy cow, that's where the $50 trillion is going. You're not going to be able to help out that next generation unless you do something about it. Okay? Not everybody can. There are some people who are so wealthy, it's just write the check. If that's you, thanks for listening. Wonderful. We got some other stuff we can help, asset protection stuff we can help you with. But for most people, most folks who are doing this, the whole point is I would like there for number one, okay, when you're broke, and you will be broke, the government will pay for it. Okay. Well, the government doesn't have any money of its own. All it has is the money it took from you. So you already paid for this. This is my philosophical thing on this, right? You already paid. Why should you have to pay again?